In today's lesson, we're going to discuss multiplying polynomials. Multiplying polynomials is basically the distributive property. Like, that's really all that it is. It's just the distributive property. Okay, so we're going to start with a monomial times a polynomial. So I did write the steps here, but they're pretty basic. We have to distribute and then combine like terms. So what you may see is different is the term on the outside of the parentheses has a variable. Okay, so when we distribute it, it's still the same. Whatever's on the outside of the parentheses goes to everything in the parentheses. There's just a few things you need to remember. Number one, if you see just a variable with no exponent, you need to remember that it is a 1. And when we multiply like bases, we add their exponents. When we multiply like bases, meaning both of these have x as the base, we're going to add their exponents. Okay. All right, so this is a monomial, which is one term, times a trinomial, which has 1, 2, 3 terms. 1 times 3 is 3. So that means after I multiply, I should have 3 terms in my answer. Or 3 terms in the next step. So when we multiply, we're going to multiply the coefficients. So 2 times 3, that gives us 6. We're going to keep the x. And then we have to add their exponents. So 1 plus 2 makes 3. All right, so that's one term. Now we need to multiply the 2x times the negative 4x. So again, we multiply the coefficients. 2 times negative 4 is a negative 8. We're going to keep the variable and add their exponents. 1 plus 1 makes 2. And then the last thing we need to distribute, the 2x2 is the 5. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 5. We get a positive 10. And we're going to keep the x since that one was the only one that had a variable. And this is our answer. Now you just repeat the same thing when you're working through examples. Okay, there's one term on the outside, 1, 2, 3 terms on the inside, so I should end up with a trinomial. You can always check that first. Okay. Again, if you see a variable without a visible exponent, put a 1 until you're used to working with it. And then we just distribute x times x squared. You keep the base, and you add the exponent. X times x. You keep the base, you add the exponent. X times 2 gives us 2x. And that is our answer. And let's just keep going. Example B, we have negative 3x squared times 6x squared plus 9x minus 10. So you just need to focus on making sure that you multiply the term on the outside of the parentheses with everything on the inside of the parentheses. So a negative 3x squared times a positive 6x squared is a negative 18x to the fourth. Then we have to do times the 9x. So negative 3x squared times 9x leaves us with negative 27x squared, cubed, because 2 plus 1 makes 3. And then we have to do the negative 3x squared times negative 10. So a negative 3 times a negative 10 is a positive 30. And we keep the x squared because we have no more x's to combine with this one. And then the last one. So the only difference with the last one is I included 2 different variables there. When you multiply, we can multiply anything. So if there's more than one variable, just keep every variable. Okay. This is a monomial times a binomial, so that means we're only going to have to multiply twice. So negative 2y times 2x. Well, if one thing, negative 2 times a positive 2 is negative 4. And then, like I said, keep both variables. Just go ahead and put them in alphabetical order. So x, y. Now, when we multiply the negative 2y times 5y, they both have like bases. They both have a y. So remember, if you don't see an exponent, put a 1 there because we have to add their exponents. So negative 2 times 5 leaves us with a negative 10. Y times y is y squared. And that is multiplying monomials times polynomials. So the next part that we need to discuss is multiplying a polynomial times a polynomial, which means the first term or the first polynomial that we're multiplying has more than one term. It can be a binomial, a trinomial. We shouldn't go any larger than that for this class. So one thing to remember is to multiply each term in the first polynomial with each term in the second polynomial. Basically, double distribution, double distribute, okay? So I put this out to the side. This is in this example, this is a binomial. There's 2 terms times a trinomial, that's 3 terms. 2 times 3 gives us 6. So that means after we multiply, we should have 6 terms. Okay? And then we're going to combine like terms if necessary. So the way you're going to get the 6, and based off of what this says, you need to multiply each term in this parentheses with each term in this one. Okay? So we're going to start with the 2x. For right now, pretend the negative 3 is not there. So we're going to do 2x times x squared. Remember to put a 1 where it needs to go. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 1 plus 2 makes 3. And then we still have to multiply the 2x times the negative 2x. So a positive 2x times a negative 2x is a negative 4x squared, because we have to do 1 plus 1 to get the exponent. And we also have to do 2x times 1, which just gives us a positive 2x. So if you've noticed, I've multiplied 3 times. Well, we're supposed to multiply 6 times. The other 3 are coming from the negative 3. So now we're going to forget that the 2x is there, and we're going to be focused on distributing the negative 3 to the 2x, the negative 3 to the, I'm sorry, negative 3 to the x squared, negative 3 to the negative 2x, and negative 3 to the 1. All right, so negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Then we do negative 3 times negative 2x. So it leaves us with a positive 6x. Yeah, just positive 6x, because this does not have an x on it, so the x will stay at degree 1. And then we need to do the negative 3 times the positive 1. We end up with negative 3. So now we have our 6 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is not our final answer. Of course, we need to combine like terms. But when you organize your polynomial that you get as your answer, go ahead and put it in standard form. So I'm going to start with the highest exponent first. I see we have a degree 3 right here. So this will be 2x cubed. Then we can combine the squares. I see we have a negative 4x squared and a negative 3x squared. So that combines to give us a negative 7x squared. If you notice, the exponent did not change. Addition, subtraction does not affect our exponents. Multiplication does, okay? And then we combine our degree 1s, the ones that's just x. So 2x plus 6x gives us a positive 8x. And our constant should be last. And we have a constant right here. It's negative 3. So our final answer is 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 8x minus 3. It may seem like a lot, guys, but use your arrows, okay? That'll keep you organized. Okay, so now to work out these examples following what we just did. This is a binomial times a binomial, so that's 2 times 2, which means we should multiply 4 times total. Okay, so we can do, first put our 1s to help us out. And we can start multiplying. We're going to focus on the x first and just pretend like the positive 1 isn't there for right now. So we're going to do x times x. X times x, you're going to keep the x and add the exponents. Let me bring this down a little bit. So x, and then add the exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then you do x times 4. X times 4 is positive 4x. So now that we've multiplied the x to everything in the second parentheses, now we need to focus on multiplying the 1 to everything in the second parentheses. So we're going to do 1 times x, which is just positive x. And we're going to do 1 times 4, which gives us plus 4. Okay, so after we multiply, our next step is to combine like terms. The only like terms I see are right here, the x's. So x squared comes down, 4x plus x is 5x. And then our constant goes last. And then we just repeat the same process with these other examples, guys. All of these are binomials times binomials, so we will be only multiplying 4 times. Use your arrows to keep you organized. So, and also put your ones where you need them. Go ahead and fill it in over here to help us out. So 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. The 3 came from 2 plus 1. And we also have to do 2x squared times negative 5, which gives us a negative 10x squared. All right, so it's the first half. Now let's multiply the second half. X times x is a positive x squared. The square came from 1 plus 1. And then x times negative 5 is negative 5x. Okay, and then we combine like terms. I notice again that my like terms are in the middle. So our final answer in standard form will be 2x cubed minus 9x squared minus 5x. And then the last example, we're going to do the exact same thing. Y times x. Now remember, when you have two variables, you're going to go ahead and keep them both. Just put them in alphabetical order. So y times x is actually xy. Then y times negative 4 is negative 4y. Okay. Then let's worry about the second set. So negative 6 times x gives us negative 6x. And then negative 6 times negative 4 leaves us with a positive 24. So looking at what we end up with, none of these are like terms, so this is our final answer. The only thing I would do is switch these two terms just so it goes in alphabetical order. But yeah, that's just me.